Hey there traders, David here of Trading Fibs and MarketFi to bring you the daily trend for May 21st, 2015. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. Support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. Let's jump right into the four major indices as we see price action holding between these key levels that we've seen all week, monthly fib and weekly fibs. Also price momentum index coming into synchronization with one another, slightly to the downside here on the YM, but as we see on all four major indices here, volume average and the 60 periods just not being able to get above, and really as we see all across the board, price action just hugging one day after another and not willing to just slightly take a chance every day to get a little bit higher. Let's jump right into the 5-minute macro view as we look at everyday price action here in the 25 and 1 hour open range all across the board. It was the TF pushing upside here to the previous session high at 1260. Price action came and really hugged the daily pivot for a while, breaking down to the CAM L4 and then finishing out right underneath the daily pivot. It was the YM that was really a lot choppy, like the TF over here on the left, finishing out its day at the daily gap, several times rebounding in between the 1 hour session high and the daily gap. The NQ and the ES, both indices of the day, as you see price action push up here to the previous session high and the CAM H4, and it was all about the ES to the CAM H4 and average move up, doing the chop in between. Let's go back to market internals. As we could see, the market internals on the AD line for the Russell not being able to eventually break back upside of the daily pivot, so holding downside as the advancers and the decliners here on the rest of the other three indices showed support at the daily pivot line. When trading in a range-bound session, it's important that you go ahead and, with the T3 trending strategy, is sometimes adapting your trading template is switching from what we usually trade with, which is a 1-day 10-tick range chart on the TF. As you can see here, price action quite choppy here, especially in the afternoon session. So if you're unable to get a setup, and the setup we're looking for again is a T3 moving average trend change, crossing over with a T3 10-period moving average, and then to put you and keep you in the trade, the Heikin Ashi bars and the background, which is the 534 crossover that you see here on the bottom. So switching from a 10-tick range chart, we can go to a 5-tick range chart, which will give you a better opportunity to get inside the trade. Again, you want to make sure that your bars are not all at the same time. You want to give them make sure that they're spaced out. So if you have 5 or 6 bars that all occur at the same time, you want to make sure that you increase the size. Here, today on a range-bound session works well when you simply lower the range setting. Again, for those of you that don't enjoy trading with tick charts, you can try time charts. You could try a 2-minute time chart. Maybe perhaps that works for you. Again, same strategy. Any market, any chart, any time frame. And for those of you that enjoy trading this with the ticks, simply for the TF, I would go ahead and use a 144 tick on the YM and NQ, and for the ES, I would move to a 400 tick, not a range chart, but a 400 tick. So you have your choices again of what you could choose from when it comes to a range-bound market, and that's exactly what we had here on the TF today. Jump right into the AM trend session recap here, located at MarketFi, which you can also find a link on my site at tradingfibs.com. Jumping right in, first 2.5 hours, looking for price action, 1 to 2 setups. We had it here on the TF, price action upside, offered an opportunity slightly to the downside, and then that rebound that we saw on the TF. The YM a little bit not as good as our two bottom ones today, the NQ and the ES, but again, we call these three possibilities of re-entry or ways of managing your stop on the way up, as you had entry number 1 at the market open, pullback, re-entry number 2, pullback, and then re-entry on number 3, or simply stay in trend by moving your stop up to the most recent swing size low. Price action here, recent swing size high. Here on the NQ, as price action, it was all about one setup to the entry to the upside and the ES here. And again, wonderful opportunity to manage your trade just by simply either trailing or whatever tool you use for trade management. So let's take a look at that NQ as price action here from the get-go, from market open. The setup already in play with the 534. The cloud in the background showing green crossover as the 5 was holding above the 34, holding above the 50 and the 144 exponential moving averages in the top right-hand chart, pushing above price action of the overnight high session, 4507. It was all about the HA bars in sync. That's right, in sync with the color cloud. Again, anytime the moving average or price action breaks down underneath and breaks above, an opportunity pullback for re-entry. So all about the NQ, and that's right, it was all about the ES as well. Price action breaking to the upside. There we go, right to the average move up, holding above the 50 and the 144. Breakout of the overnight session high, 21.2350. It was there at the average move up, and the CAM H4, the price action found some resistance as price action completely reversed itself. Tried to hold support here at, that's right, tried to support at the 144 and finding once again it was unable to break downside, and as we see the remainder of the session, price action never being really able to get back upside. Again, when you got a lot of this chop action, you got to move to a chart that will be more suitable for here on the ES. Can't go lower than that 5 tick. You have to switch over 5 tick range chart. You have to switch over to a 400 tick chart. Or something lower than that. Just make sure that your bars aren't all being put on the chart at the same time. It was all about the other, looking at the other commodities today as well. Here we can see on the euro, very choppy here on a 5 tick range chart. Can't go lower than that, so you might have wanted to change to a tick chart or a minute chart. On the gold and the silver, really just chopping them sideways. Taking a look at the crude here, as crude had some wonderful setups from the market open here as it opened up at 6 o'clock West Coast time. Price action to the upside, pullback opportunity, and re-entry. And whatever possibility you were able to get in and stay in, as you see the background here in the 534 crossover, and staying and remaining in the trend by simply managing your trade on the way up by placing your stop under the most recent swing size. So it was all about the crude, and looking all about the crude as we follow here in my portfolio here on MarketFi, buying the crude, placing them in the portfolio when they were on sale, not chasing the trade. But again, we've had a nice all-time performance, now up 55% for a majority of the oil stocks that were bought at the lows, or whether they were shorted at the highs, has turned around a nice profit as we see crude back up to its $60 not knowing if we're going to 100 yet, but again, it's nice to see that portfolio increase in size after waiting a little bit of chop for the majority of the beginning of the year. That concludes today's daily trend wrap-up. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. Again, here at tradingfibs.com, you can catch every day's daily trend market wrap with links to the AM trend session recap at MarketFi, and including the videos that I don't include in today's review, the stocks in the trend, which I will go ahead and review later on this weekend, probably. Dan Zanger's chartpattern.com, great site, great resources, looking for opportunities in the market, taking a look at some of the recent big winners, going ahead and showing you how recent swing size winners like Facebook you could have gotten in at almost the same time on using the same simple strategy that we use here at Trading Fibs, the T3 trending strategy, and also taking a look at some of the IBD wrap-ups, some of the stocks that they've been looking at for value-based investing, stocks in the base that you can get yourself in by just simply using the same patterns of a 534 EMA and a T3 moving average. So you can capture those in my video recap, stocks in the trend. My trading mantra of one simple strategy: any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at Trading Fibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts. Hey, have yourself a blue zone day.